ayahuasca has piqued your interest and you're thinking to yourself, is this the right thing for me? You might have heard about super successful entrepreneurs doing ayahuasca, but thinking like, hey, I don't really belong into that category, or others who have deep childhood trauma and are trying to resolve that and just like, well, maybe that's not me either. So this video, we will go deeper into if ayahuasca is for you and also for who ayahuasca is not the right thing. There are certain overarching themes of why people want to drink ayahuasca. And the first group, you could consider them the self-optimizers, people who want to become the best version of themselves, people who want to have a clear vision for their life and their values, also want to see where they're not in integrity with themselves. They maybe even want to discover their purpose on why they're here on this earth. They want to break through their limiting beliefs. And those types of people usually listen to Joe Rogan, have done an ice bath before, maybe do breath work or similar practices to connect with themselves. Many of those people are digital nomads, entrepreneurs, but also, people who work a normal job but are constantly on the search to become better and knowing that their inner world influences strongly on what they experience in their outer world. So they want to start taking care of what's going on within. Prominent examples for those self-optimizers could be, if you go as high as Aaron Rodgers, who won the MVP in the National Football League multiple times, Gerald Adams, who's an A-plus figure entrepreneur, and there's even a VC in California who takes their the companies that he invests in, the founders, to drink ayahuasca. So those are some examples of those overachievers, of the people who really want to become the best version of themselves. Another group of people who usually come to drink ayahuasca are people who want to heal from the past. And it can be as dramatic as, deep childhood trauma that might have happened, but also people who, let's say experienced a certain level of business failure, or heartbreak, something that happened in their life, a strong emotional impact that they haven't been able to really process. And they notice that that event, even though it might have happened a year ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, that it still influences them on their day-to-day, their ability to trust, their ability to let go of control. And, it's like, why would you want an event that happened in the past have such a strong influence on your present and your future only because you haven't been able to emotionally overcome it? Many times these people have also used a certain level of healing modality, whether it's with a therapist, whether it's with meditation, and they're having results and progress, but in many cases still not that level of breakthrough that they're looking for. So those people are also drawn to ayahuasca. Another group of people who are attracted to ayahuasca are people who struggle with mental health issues. It can be depression, it can be anxiety, it can be sleepless nights, it can even be addictions. It could also be a certain level of self-confidence issues. Basically, we are so much up in our head and thinking about all those problems, even though our life is on the outside good, but there's something inside of us which is not in harmony, and that is creating a certain level of stress in one's life. And maybe one is not even aware of like, hey, where's this coming from? But the negative impacts are very noticeable. So those types of people are like, okay, I want to get this under control. I want to feel like myself without all of these struggles up in my head. And they are looking for solutions, and ayahuasca can help with that. Finding clarity is another reason why certain people drink ayahuasca. It can be people who are in their midlife crisis, maybe people who are traveling, people who are in their gap year. Maybe they have lived a big part of their life and they're looking for a certain level of change, or they have big questions coming up in their life and they're unsure about certain things, and they're like, okay, I want to find more clarity within. And, there's so many things going on, social conditioning, how should I live my life, external influences. And ayahuasca is really good at stripping those away and connecting you with yourself and finding the answer within. I also like to say, in most cases, it's not ayahuasca told me the answer. It's your consciousness meeting your consciousness through ayahuasca, and you start to understand the inner desires and wishes of your soul. So it's not necessarily that ayahuasca tells you something, but that you connect more with yourself, with your intuition, and find out what you really want in your life. So if you find yourself in any of those categories, then ayahuasca is right for you, and it can help you in your journey. But there are also certain people whom ayahuasca is not a right fit. And the first is obviously if there's medical contraindications. And a very important one is a psychiatric condition. So if somebody has bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, borderline personality, in those cases, it's better to not drink ayahuasca because the ups and downs for those people, they experience them very strongly, and they're that much stronger on ayahuasca. It affects the brain chemistry, all that kind of stuff. And ayahuasca is safe, but it's important that you are also medically cleared to drink ayahuasca and not do any risks. So if you suffer a psychiatric condition, then ayahuasca is not the right thing for you. Also, if you cannot go off antidepressants, that's a problem as well. If you have heart disease, if you have epilepsy, those are things where it's better to be careful with. Also, we work with a doctor here in Colombia. If you have any medical questions, let me know and I can check on those. There are also certain mental attitudes that don't work well with ayahuasca. And those are people who have deep emotional trauma and they haven't addressed it. People who are very much caught up in their own victim mentality. People who are not ready to take responsibilities in their life. People who blame others. People who hold on to all of their suffering and make that their identity. It's like ayahuasca is going to show you on how you are creating all of those sufferings in your life. And if you are that attached to your suffering, if you are not really ready to do the work, but you're looking for a quick fix, then ayahuasca is not the journey for you. It's also very important that it's your decision to drink ayahuasca. If you, let's say, suffer certain mental health problems and your spouse is nagging you, hey, you should do ayahuasca, and then you're just like, okay, I want the person to stop bothering me, so I'm going to go on this journey and tell them it's not going to work anyway, but at least I did it, or whatever. Those people are not ready to go on that journey. So in that case, it has to be your decision and not pushed onto you by somebody else. Other groups of people who are not ready for ayahuasca, you can categorize them into the psychedelic tourism. Basically people who want to have the experience to brag to their friends about. Or let's say an influencer who knows like, oh, ayahuasca is a hot topic. I want to have new content, so I'm going to go drink ayahuasca and try it out. People who want to hallucinate, people who want to have a trance, people who want to see some nice magical figures on ayahuasca. It's not a good reason to drink ayahuasca. It could be that you will encounter certain things that you are not ready for. So it's important to understand that ayahuasca is not a recreational activity, something that has been around for thousands of years, something that for the indigenous of the Amazon is a sacred medicine to help heal our thinking, our emotions, our spirit, in a way, our soul. So drink with that level of intention and not just to go have a trip or whatever. If you feel that level of magnetic pull towards ayahuasca, then ayahuasca is for you. And that brings up new questions. What will my experience be like? Will I be safe? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. What if I go crazy? What if I lose control? What if I have a psychosis? Also, I want change, but how will my life look after? Will I be so drastically different that I won't be unrecognizable to myself and others, and maybe even make decisions that I will regret? And if that moves you, we got the video prepared for you.